My sister believes that, I don't know, in the Bible somewhere, I guess it says, that everybody on earth will be given the opportunity to hear Christ's message. Everybody on earth will be given the opportunity to hear Christ's message. That's what she would say. So if they choose not to believe, then they're choosing to go to hell. Because, again, they heard the message, they heard from some foreign person in some foreign language that they've never heard before. Someone tell them about this guy who, was nailed to the cross and was supposedly God's son and came to life 3 days later and died for our sins. And if they don't believe it immediately, then they go to hell. And that is somehow justification for her. Well, everybody is given the opportunity to hear it. Everyone on earth will eventually hear the message before they die, and it is their choice whether or not to believe it or deny it. And if they deny it, then they deserve to go to hell. And how is that in any way fair? If some fucking guy comes from fucking West Africa tomorrow into our country and starts speaking in Swahili or whatever and says, one of my ancestors 1,000 years ago, was buried alive or stoned to death, and we all witnessed his blood and guts everywhere, and we buried him, and then a couple days later we went and we went to the grave site, and it was dug up, and he came walking down the street, and he said he was the Son of God, and all we have to do is believe in that, and blah blah blah. And so we're all just supposed to take this guy from West Africa. All us Americans are just supposed to stop whatever we're doing and say, yeah, you know what, this guy from fucking East Africa or West Africa or what the fuck ever, speaking some different language, is telling the truth with no proof, with no, anything, but some book in a foreign language, and says, well, millions of people believe it in Africa, you must believe it now or you're gonna die. You're gonna perish for your sins and you're gonna go to hell.
This is how your sister thinks?
I'm saying that is how it would seem to other people. If I go right now to the Amazon, there are tribes in the Amazon rainforests that have, barely ever been infiltrated by modern humans, modern civilization, right? Yeah. So we go and we send our missionaries there, okay? And we try to teach them about the Bible and say, hey, believe this or you're going to hell. I mean, that to them, it's the same thing as what I just explained. Some African guy coming over here and telling us what to believe? Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Why am I supposed to believe what you're saying? Because 1 million people in your culture believe it? So? You know what I mean? And so that's what we're telling all these other cultures. Well, the Jews, Jesus Christ was a Jew. And the Jews don't believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God.
Wow.
Even they reject him.
I didn't know that.
So we, the Christians, are saying, well, the Jews, they're the chosen people. They're great and all. You have to protect them. You have to have, respect for them and all that. But they're still probably going to hell because they don't believe in Jesus Christ as God's son. They just believe in him as a prophet. And everybody else that doesn't believe in Jesus Christ as a savior is going to hell too. But the Jews themselves, who he was a member of, don't believe in him. Wow. How are they supposed to believe in him? These other people that have never even heard of him. And like I said, grew up in Buddhist cultures or Hindu cultures or Muslim cultures. Muslim cultures do have Jesus and they do have the same God we have, etc. But they have one more guy after Jesus. So basically, we're just saying, oh, you're one more guy after Jesus. Fuck him. He doesn't belong. And they're saying, well, we have another guy after Jesus, so fuck you. It's more than that. Our story goes a little bit longer than yours.
Okay.
So, but, and then we're all fighting each other and killing each other and on Earth.
That's what it is right now.
Yeah, because of this whole thing.
Yep.
But again, also, we're all swearing to each other that you're going to hell, or you're the infidel, or you're the heretic, or you're this, or you're that, or you're whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All those Trumplicans, the Trump Republicans, they're all white Christian people that are, Jesus Christ. If you don't believe in Jesus Christ, then you're going to hell. And, all the foreigners can get the hell out anyway because, blah, blah, blah. They don't believe in Jesus and get the hell, God, Christ, and USA. So what? God only lets white people into heaven? I mean, what the fuck is this? It's just, that's not a God I would want to worship.
Yeah.
If he created us to be loving and because everything Jesus teaches, if you read the Bible, if you read the stuff Jesus actually preaches, it's all about accepting one another, turning the other cheek, being loving towards your neighbor, helping people, not selling shit and getting rich. Give people the shirt off your back. Yeah, give somebody the last scrap of bread you have to feed them.
Kind of like Joel Osteen, right? Be like him.
Oh, yeah.
You want to get into him?
No, that's the exact opposite.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's nowhere in the actual Bible that says that it is holy or that it is Christ-like to be rich. No, you're supposed to give all your worldly possessions up.
Yeah.
And give them to the people that need them so that we can all have a little something. And that's why I believe the heaven is fucking socialist, first of all.
Socialist?
Socialist.
What's that
because
mean?
everybody gets a little... Because socialist is we're a society. You can't work. I'm going to help you eat. Not, we're a capitalist society. You can't work. Oh, well, you starve to death. I can work. And since I worked for such a long time, or since people value my work more than others, I'm going to have a gold fucking house like Donald Trump. And fuck you if you're starving. Oh, fucking well, that's your bad.
So just like our president,
guess you should have worked harder.
That work below him, all the people, yeah.
Guess you should have worked harder.
So if a bomb hits, who's going under in the hole
exactly.
first? The
rich
specifically
fucking
designed hole that protects you against fucking atom bombs and all that shit.
So, again, the Bible, Jesus Christ himself, he went to some temple at some point in the Bible. He went to some temple and he saw people selling some shit in front of the temple. And he tossed their tables up and threw all their shit to the ground and was like, you're not supposed to be making money here. You're supposed to be helping the poor.
Yeah.
If somebody's asking for alms is like, can I have some? Can you please give me something to survive? Some money, food, whatever.
Yeah.
You're supposed to give it to them. You're supposed to give it to them even if you have, like I said, nothing yourself. Give them the shirt off your back. You're not supposed to benefit you're not supposed to get rich off the backs of poor people that can't feed their children. You're not supposed to turn a blind eye to poor people and misery and people that are dying and suffering. You're supposed to turn the other cheek when someone slaps you. You're supposed to not wage war. You're supposed to wage peace. You're supposed to be a brother to everyone you meet. So, we're all supposed to be family.
Or sister, yes. Well.
Yeah, I mean, so the whole idea of everything that Christ teaches goes the opposite against every American value there is. All about being very much, the American dream, have a house, have a car, and fuck everybody else that can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's to all the rich out there, them rich mofos.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, that's the opposite of Christ's teachings. But then you have all these white Christian Americans that are like, yeah, go Trump. How is he advocating?
I have no idea.
Anything?
My mother is the same way.
Exactly.
She loves him.
But she also loves her money, and she believes in Joel Osteen, and he's all about prosperity.
Of course, because I think the times are changing, and it's changing people. If we lean more towards what we're talking about now, I think we would lean more towards that. Everybody.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Socialism. Socialism is an old idea where basically we're all a society. We all take care of each other.
Yeah, sure.
If one can't eat, then we all need to give a little bit off of our plate to let them eat.
Yeah.
And what they say nowadays is, oh, well, if you do that, then a bunch of people are just not going to work because they don't feel like working. Because they're going to take advantage of the system. They're going to become welfare queens, blah, 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 all that shit you hear.
Yeah.
It's just a way for them to say, no, I don't want to help poor people.
Of course.
And that's it. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah, of course, they're trying to. I understand. I get it.
The
And so does
fact
everybody
is
else.
That Christian,
Sure, everybody
if you're
gets
a true Christian, you're supposed to help poor people. That's your main goal. You're not supposed to give 10% of your income to the church. Give that money to poor people that can't eat.
Like show them people that it actually, you're actually doing something.
Exactly.
I mean,
Do
show
something.
other people that you're doing
Put your
something.
money where your fucking mouth
That's why I don't
is.
go to church anymore, man. I remember I went to. I'm saying, but I remember going to that fucking rehab, to get myself right because I didn't want to let go of everything I had in my mind because I felt crazy because I guess socialism or reality makes me feel like I'm crazy because I'm like, why are we all being like this? I'm trained to be different. Like I'm trained to be in my mind to help people and like. The more I help, the more I'm looked down on. I'm like, well, fuck, I'm broke. I have nothing to wear. I got to buy $10 shoes at Walmart, but I'm looked at like I'm the scumbag. When reality is everybody else is a scumbag, but they just can't see each other because they got somebody backing them, like some piece of shit president fucking Trump or a president or whatever.
Exactly, but that's why.
That's why I always say government, babe. I always think the government's against
this.
this.
Well, the government of America is corrupt because we have a capitalist society. America is corrupt because of capitalism. Capitalism is our economic system.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about
our
any of that.
system of government. Our system of government is democracy, but it's actually really a republic. But our system of our economic system is capitalism. But capitalism has infiltrated our government, meaning the rich people own the politicians. So now it's more actually not technically a capitalist and a republic. It's like a capitalist republic. It's now we're kind of in an oligarchy where there's a few rich people and they own everything and they own the government. And they tell the government what to do and the government does it.
Wow. Wow.
That's what we're in right now.
That's fucking amazing.
But we're trying to change into being a social democracy, which is what a lot of European countries are, like Sweden and Norway and some of the other Scandinavian countries where they have universal health care. France, England, Canada, Australia, a lot of other countries have free health care. It's not free, you're taxed on it, but it's a national healthcare system where everybody gets it. You get it from birth. You're not charged for being born like we are in America.
Oh, yeah.
And, if you're sick, you go to the doctor and that's it. That's just, if you don't have money, it doesn't matter. And that's in Asian countries, too. I mean, it's pretty much in every country except America.
Ours. Now, I wonder why...
We're the only ones that still...
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering why every other country hates us so much.
Well, yeah.
Because we look at everybody else as pieces of shit, pretty much,
also
right?
Because
and we're trained that way, to think that way.
We've been indoctrinated.
Yeah,
the school system is part of the government, and the government tells the school system what they can and can't teach us. And we've been taught that all these other countries with... socialized medicine have very, very, very shitty doctors, very shitty healthcare systems, very poor. They're just bad systems. They're outdated. They don't have the equipment they need. They sit on a waiting list to see the doctor for 3 years. They have doctors that
How come,
haven't been trained in the latest
can
techniques.
I ask this?
All that shit's bullshit. It's lies.
This might be like completely opposite of what I'm asking, but why is it I can't order any drugs online to because they're cheaper somewhere else? Why am I not allowed to order drugs outside of the US?
Because it's a monopoly. American pharmaceutical companies do not want other countries.
Oh, so they talk to
competing with.
So who do they tell to stop that? Like they could just shut it down. So that's what I mean.
The government shuts it down so that we can't buy from any other country.
Pharmaceutical
companies pay the government to tell us, not that we're not allowed legally to buy from other countries, yes.
Wow.
And the thing is, most of the pharmaceutical companies, or a lot of the pharmaceutical companies that make these drugs, they sell them in those other countries too. The ones that they're getting for really cheap, they're coming from these American companies in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
But those countries have laws where the pharmaceutical company has to negotiate with the government of that country the price of the drug. And if the company says, well, we're going to charge, $110 a shot for insulin, which you have to, shoot up like 3 times a day. So $300 a day. I don't know how much that would be per month, whatever. It's an extravagant amount that nobody could afford. The government says, no, fuck you. We'll find somebody else that will take your formula and we'll buy from them. And so the pharmaceutical company says, okay, you twist my arm, we'll give it to you for $1 a day. But in America, we have this, I guess, law where the pharmaceutical companies can do whatever they want. They don't have to negotiate, except for Medicare. When it comes to the senior citizens Medicare, that's the only time that the government will negotiate drug prices with the pharmaceutical companies.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
okay
it's
to...
a fucking racket. It's a fucking criminal enterprise.
Exactly. Everything's a racket in America. Am I wrong?
Exactly.
So if I wanted to order some chocolate from Sweden, just to try it.
Oh, you can do that, but you can't order no fucking...
What?
Insulin. Not if you're gonna die.
Really? So if my son's dying right now and I want to order some insulin that's cheaper there than it is here.
Not a chance, bro.
So they're saying no, fuck you.
That shit.
I'm saying, so they would say no, you're going to jail and your kid's gonna die while you're in jail.
Well, no, I mean, they would have to put your son in the hospital, and they would have to treat him as best they could, and maybe I don't know, maybe put him on a donor list, which he would never get whatever organ.
Also, I found out that if you're like 100% sober, clean, no cigarettes ever through your whole life, and if you gave up a donor, a piece of your liver or a kidney, whatever it is you can get rid of, that you move to the top of the list immediately if you need something. But I don't know if it's true. Like, say, for instance, before...
Well, yeah, of course, because you have a much more higher percentage of living. They don't want to give organs to people who are just going to die.
Well, I'm not just saying. I'm just saying just in general, like say I needed a liver later. I'd be able to... Or a kidney later. I'd be able to have a kidney.
So basically the rationale is if you drank all your life and you need a new liver, well, fuck you. There's somebody
But it's legal to advertise and sell and everything else, right?
Well, you can't sell your organs.
No. I'm talking about the liquor. The liquor
they
allow.
Yeah, of course. But they're just going to say, well, you made bad choices in your life, so you're lower on the list.
That makes more sense, I guess, to a certain extent.
You're punished for your choices, of course.
Yeah, of course. They got to give you some reason to punish you.
But yeah, so like I said, if your son needed insulin, you couldn't afford the insulin, but you could buy it, say, from Canada, and you could afford it, you technically, no, you couldn't do that. If you could find a way to smuggle it down here illegally, absolutely.
Of course,
people do that
illegally, of course. Yeah.
Illegally, and people do that all the time. But technically, it's illegal, and if they caught you, you would get jail time, whatever, or fines. I don't know.
Yeah, probably go to jail. You just do any kind of drugs in the U.S.
If you couldn't get it, and your son went into, say, a diabetic coma, or whatever,
and you wouldn't have robbed a bank to get the money to buy it, then you'd still go to prison.
I'm just saying, listen, so say that your son is dying from the insulin thing, they could maybe put him on a list of which really I don't think a donor situation would even apply to a diabetic person, because it's not about a bad pancreas, it's about the pancreas not producing, or the body not regulating the insulin enough. I don't know. It's a hormone thing. I don't think a new organ would even matter. So anyway, so basically the hospital would have the requirement to treat your son in terms of getting him stable. So they would probably give him the insulin that he needed to become, alive again, or not alive again, but, to get stabilized with his insulin levels. and then they would release him as long as he was stable, and then again when he needed his next insulin dose, he would not have it, and then maybe slip into a coma, and then go into the hospital, and then once the hospital realizes that we're not just going to keep giving you insulin shots every time you come in, because
but the other countries do it all the time because they make
Listen, what I'm saying is then they make your son comfortable until he dies. They will sit there and watch your kid die rather than give him the drug that they have and they can give you.
On blast. They have millions of them.
Absolutely.
Millions, but they want fucking $300.
Because you don't have the insurance that would cover it. Absolutely.
So the insurance companies corrupt too.
Or you don't have... The insurance companies are the most corrupt.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm dumb as fuck.
The insurance companies, the pharmaceutical companies are the top of the list of the most corrupt in all.
But they're allowed to get away with murder, pretty much.
Absolutely, 100%.
But we can't go steal a car if we need to pay for our food the next day,
it doesn't matter.
Or sell drugs in the streets. I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter what crime you commit. It doesn't matter why you committed the crime.
Why are they allowed to commit crimes behind, legally, and we're not?
Killing your kid or whatever?
Legally.
No, they're not committing crimes because
that?
they are treating your son according to your insurance plan.
Exactly. So why is that even legal? Why should that even be on? Why should people even have the knowledge of this?
What knowledge of what?
Of insurance companies being corrupt, and what was the other one? Oh, pharmaceutical companies. Why are we allowed to have the knowledge of them being corrupt, and they're getting away with it?
Because, like I said, we don't have a democracy, and we don't have a capitalist democracy anymore. We have an oligarchy because politicians are bought. They're not elected; they're bought.
They're bought. B-O-U-G-H-T, like cash money.
They are purchased.
By
companies.
So when we become a company, we could buy them too, is what you're saying. So that's legal.
If you become a multi-billion
I'm saying,
dollar
but
company,
that's legal.
Sure.
So these people are going to be...
It's not technically legal, no. And they're not technically bought.
Okay, until...
They are donated money for their campaign so that they can stay in office.
Donated.
Now,
so they got loopholes.
Look, you got a guy... Chuck, what's his name? Mitch McConnell. I'm sure you've seen this guy. I'll look up. He's the guy that looks like a fucking turtle. He's got a fucking neck, and he's just the ugliest man, the ugliest, most evil fucking man I've ever seen in my entire life. Is he worse than what's his name? Trump? Yeah, Trump's just a fucking puppet.
No, I'm saying, is he worse than what's his face? Olstein.
Oh, Joel. Oh, yeah. This guy looks like fucking, I don't know, he looks like a fucking
Ninja Turtle or something?
A picture of death. I don't know, just look at some of the pictures.
Oh yeah, I know.
He looks like a wax puppet.
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
If you've ever seen that movie Hannibal.
Yeah.
With where it was about like Dr. Lecter before he got caught and went to jail, and there's a bad guy in it who's his face is all waxy because somebody had chopped off chunks of his face and fed it to the dog, and then they had to like kind of sew his little chunks back together. That's what this guy looks like, Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Now he's been in Congress for I don't know how many fucking years, like 30.
Yeah.
How do you think he gets reelected and reelected and reelected and reelected and reelected? Because once you get in office, you start palling around with the rich company lobbyists that they send around. The lobbyists are the people that the rich companies send around. The pharmaceutical companies send a guy. He's called a lobbyist. He's allowed to go to the Capitol and schmooze and dine and give gifts and all these other things. Maybe he's going to take you to Hawaii. Maybe he's going to send your family to fucking, Puerto Rico or, Thailand or whatever. Or you're going to go to, a business trip in Thailand with your whole family. And they're going to pay for it and blah, blah, blah. And so all you got to do is say that you're going to vote some such way on some such bill that's going to come up. And then they are gonna make a $200 million donation to your fund. And if you have the most money in a campaign, you are gonna win.
So question, why doesn't the FBI keep their dibs on all their phone numbers to find out, if who's talking?
Okay, because we've allowed this to happen for so long.
I'm saying the FBI can control everything. They have all the best technology.
The FBI is run by government.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That's why I brought up government in the beginning. That's why I mean government issued.
So the head of the FBI is a government appointee.
Ah, shit.
So Congress says, this guy's running the FBI. And so this guy running the FBI says, oh, you're investigating what? Okay, that's going away. And we're going to investigate...
just like the cops investigate themselves. They get away with fucking murder.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter.
Makes a
nothing
perfect
that's ever
fucking
gonna
entry
change.
for everybody.
So, even though Trump did all this bad shit...
wait.
Listen.
Okay.
Trump did all this bad shit for 4 years, and we want him to pay for it, right? So, the Democrats, since we now have a Democrat president, is going to spend the next 4 years investigating Trump and trying to catch him or trying to get him or his flunkies, you know, in trouble for any of the shit that they did in the last 4 years. And meanwhile, they're not going to get anything done for the American people. They're just going to try and figure out a way to get the other party in trouble for the shit that they did for the last 4 years. And then the next 4 years are going to come.
The same thing.
And it's going to be, maybe it'll flip over and the Republicans will be in. And they're going to look into all the shit that the Democrats did these 4 years, and they're gonna try and get them on whatever they did. So it's just this back and forth bullshit. It's like a ex-husband and wife.
Yeah.
You know, like, or like a couple that's going through a divorce. It's like every 4 years they have their lawyer checking into whatever the shit their you know, future ex-husband's doing.
But now, do you see why I say government?
Yeah, of course I understand, but it's not all just like when you say in God we trust and all that. You're confused because that's not what it's about. That's
no, when I say on the dollar bill, when they say in God we trust, they use the fucking in God we trust, just like the guys in church do, just like the guys in public politicians do, just like everybody does. They have a certain term, right, just to stay one with. Whoever they have to stay in one with, or no?
But that's been on there since
1964 or younger, right?
Yeah, whatever. But it doesn't make any difference to the average person.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody looks at their money and says, "Let me."
No.
But, you know.
I wasn't trying to talk about in God we trust. I was actually going to talk about something else, but whatever. I lost it. But anyway, all right. So that's that. Hopefully the FBI doesn't take us out for this message, but this is a message that needs to be. They're
not gonna take anybody out. We're fucking nobodies, and they don't care.
That's what I mean. That's why they'll take us out faster.
They don't even count on us voting.
Yeah, because they control it all.
You didn't vote.
Well, I couldn't vote because they wouldn't allow me.
Exactly. Because even though the people of Florida voted that people could get their rights back to vote, even if they were a felon. The Republican governor DeSantis.
Yeah. Decided against it.
No, fuck you. I don't care what you voted for.
Exactly.
You're not allowed to anyway.
But I did my 18 months, 19 years ago, and still don't get my rights back.
But see, again, it doesn't matter what we the people vote for because we're not an actual democracy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the fucking thing, too, but let's not even get into that. What do you call it? The fucking...
electoral college.
Yes, I fucking can't stand it.
It's just a way to cheat the people.
Exactly. A good way to cheat the people.
And for the Republicans.
Okay.
Anyway. The majority of the system is meant to benefit the Republicans because while they've been in office, they've made the most corrupt, and they were the most ambitious in their corruption. Let me put it like that. Yeah, they made the most laws and they made the most changes to make it legal to basically make it so that black people can't vote. Indians, Native Americans can't vote.
Anybody color,
people can't
of
vote.
color, pretty much.
Yeah, the basically Republicans have basically turned it into a law that only white Americans in rural, which means like farming areas, are most likely to vote. And who do you think they're most likely to vote for? Other white people like themselves.
Wow.
Who are generally probably rich.
Yeah, not rich.
Inner cities.
So, like, Texas is super racist, right?
Well, no. I mean, you go to San Antonio, you're fine, but we're talking about rural. So we're talking about, like you go over into fucking, like Lakeland or Riverview or Lutz or Wesley Chapel.
Is that for Hills?
You get into a lot of area where a lot of white people own a lot of land, right?
Yeah.
But then you get into like St. Pete or Tampa where there's like more white and black and Spanish and apartments, not so much houses, and maybe like projects like in New York City or Detroit or whatever. You get into the cities, that's where most of the people are.
What about
But-
Flint, Michigan?
Yeah, black people, all black people.
That's why they never took care of the water problem.
Yes, because that's what I'm saying. If you live in a
That's
city,
a motherfucker.
if you live in a city, they don't give a fuck about you because they think you're probably black, so they
Wow.
don't care about you. But if you live in the rural areas, rural meaning like I said, like farmland,
Yeah.
then you're probably white, you're probably rich, you probably own a farm or you own some land. So we care about your vote more than we care about the people that live in the fucking projects. So let's make sure that we do as much as we can to restrict the people in the cities from voting, and we let the 500 people that live in
Farmville.
100 million square acres,
Farmville.
their vote matters more than the 5 billion people living in like 2 square acres.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're out. So that's the Murphy crew and the, yeah. Adios, amigos.